Hey, Tom here from the Run Testers. I am down in Worthing today for the Worthing 10K. I've done it a few times before actually. I really like this race. It's a perfect day for it. It's really sunny, a little bit of a breeze, no clouds, but not too hot at the moment. So hopefully it should be fine in the next 20 minutes when we start the race. I am going to be testing out the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s today. I've not used those for a 10K race yet, and I was a bit skeptical about using them, but I thought it's about the right time because I'm not really training for anything at the moment, so I'm going to give them a go. I'm also testing out the OpenFit, the Shokz OpenFit Airs as well, which the guys have got up on the channel, but I've not tested them yet, so I can see what they're like over the race. Right, I'm going to go and set up at the start. See you in a bit. Right, I'm done now. I'm just heading back to the station. That was tough. I'm definitely not as fit as I was last year. I think I ended up with about 39 minutes 25, which is almost 2 minutes off on PB. So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do for Valencia, but it's a great day. It's absolutely perfect. I've got absolutely no excuses because the weather was spot on, and the wind was barely non-existent. Nice little breeze. Right, I'm gonna go home now and I'll do the full video when I get back. See you in a bit. Okay, so I'm back now from the Worthing 10K, and it wasn't the most successful race I've ever done, but that's because I'm not very fit at the moment. But let's first talk about the race itself. So I've done the Worthing 10K before. I really like the Worthing 10K. Worthing is a seaside town on the south coast. It's a very nice little seaside town, but it's a really big race. So some of the races that you get on the south coast take place on the pavements along the coastal paths, so they can be a little bit tight. This is one of the bigger races, so there's a couple in Brighton that are about the same scale. It takes place on the roads that go through Worthing and a bit out of Worthing, and it's a really, really big race. There's a lot of people that do it. It's a very popular race on the south coast. There's not many big ones around this time of year, so a lot of people do it. It's a bit hit and miss when it comes to getting PBs, because when you're on the south coast, if you've got a bit of bad weather, it massively affects the race. So if it's a windy day, that generally makes it for it to be a very, very difficult race. Today was absolutely perfect. It was sunny, but it wasn't too hot. There was a little breeze, which helped a little bit on the way back, but it definitely wasn't a problem on the way out of Worthing. The course itself, it has one water station at around the sort of 4 or 5k mark. It's a pretty nice route. It's very, very flat. You basically go through the town and then you head out around a little loop around a field outside of Worthing, and then you come back. There's loads of crowds there, as there always is on seaside races in the summer, because there's just a lot of people that want to come out and enjoy the sunshine. So it's a really, really nice race to do. So if you're thinking about taking a weekend trip and you want to see the south coast and you want to come do a race as well, it's a really good one for it. You could come down for the whole weekend and do the park run in Worthing as well on the Saturday, which is also a really good race and a very fast one as well if you get good weather. So for me today, it wasn't my perfect race by any stretch of the imagination. I got about 39 minutes 25, which is quite far off my PB, which is 37:30, which I got last year. But I wasn't expecting to get a fast time today. I've not really been training very much over the past few months, since I've been training for London and Boston, which I wasn't very successful at either. But today was basically a test to see where I'm at the moment. I haven't got any big races coming up for a while. The next one hopefully I'm going to be doing is the big half in September, in the lead up to Valencia in December. So I'll be starting proper training at the end of July and in August. So I'll be focusing very hard on trying to get the 250 that I want to get in Valencia, and hopefully maybe like a 121, 122 at the big half. At the moment, I'm way off of that. So I think I'd probably, if I went all out at a marathon, I'd probably be about 3:15 at the moment. So today's race was a bit of a test to see where I was at. I was a bit worried that I was going to be over 40 minutes for it, so I desperately wanted to get it close enough to my PB to feel like I've still got some speed in the legs, but I did find it very hard. I'm definitely not as fit as I was when I've done some of the faster races over the last year or so. But I did enjoy it. It's great. There's loads of great crowds. It's really great to be down there. Everyone's very much enjoying themselves, and it's a really nice place to finish a race because you're on the seaside and everyone's drinking coffees and getting ice creams and stuff like that. So very much enjoyed it. Well worth doing that race if you want a often fast 10k race on the south coast around the summer. Okay, so the kit I tested today, I decided to take out the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s because I haven't raced in them since I got them. I was using them quite a bit for training during the lead up to Boston and London marathons, and I wasn't a massive fan of them at the time. I had other shoes that I wanted to use for those marathons. The Nike Alpha 3 I used for Boston Marathon, and even though I've been obsessed with the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 for a long time, the Pro 4 just didn't seem to do it for me, and I think it's because it has this extra layer of HG foam in it, which does change the ride quite a bit. So I thought today would be a good opportunity to test it out. I wasn't going for a PB today, so I didn't want to go for the absolute perfect shoe for the race. So I thought I'd pick up the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s and give them a proper run out and see what I thought of them over a 10k distance. And to be honest, they were better than I thought they would be. In the training runs, I've done a lot of intervals in them. I've done a couple of longer runs in them during my marathon training. And I just felt that they just didn't have the bounce or the energy return that I come to expect from the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. And as a result, I have not really wanted to use them that much for a lot of my for any races basically. So today I thought it would be a chance to use it, and I didn't mind them. They were all right. They were a bit better than I expected. They definitely feel a little bit firmer than the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3s. To be honest, over the course of that 10k, I didn't really feel like I was getting much from them. They felt fast, they felt nippy, the things that you want from a carbon plate shoe on a 10k distance or a 5k distance. They just didn't feel like I didn't really notice them on my feet throughout the run, which isn't a bad thing, but I just didn't feel like they were really giving me much back. And I think it's because of that new dual foam design that they have in them. And I definitely wouldn't want to use them for a marathon. I'd want something that had a little bit more bounce, a little bit more softness and energy return in them for a marathon. But over 10k distance, they're absolutely fine. I don't think another shoe would have had a massive impact on it for me. They were very comfortable. They felt like I could pick up the pace nicely. I did a couple of kilometers at quite a fast pace, so around 3:30 minute kilometers, and they felt absolutely fine for that. I didn't have any issues at all. But I think that over longer distance, over marathon distance, maybe half marathon distance, I think it would be okay for half marathon distance actually, but I think for marathons they just don't have enough comfort and cushioning and bouncing for me over that distance. But I was pleasantly surprised with the shoe because I have been putting off testing them in a proper race for a while because of the marathons that I've done before. So pretty successful run for the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s, but still a way off what I wanted from them when they came out in comparison to the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3s. The other thing I was testing out was the Shokz OpenFit Airs. Now, we've got a video on the channel, a couple of videos on the channel about these now. I've just got these, so this is the first time second time I took them out for a run yesterday as well. But I've only just got these, so the guys have had them a little bit longer than me. I really liked the Open Fits. I thought that they worked really well for comfort. I didn't have any issues with them. I know some of the other guys had issues with the fit of them. Nothing at all for me. I thought they were absolutely fine. The only thing I was a bit concerned about with them is that I forgot that they were on my head because I didn't feel them at all, which when you've got two separate buds, I don't like that. I like to know that I've got them on, so if I drop one, I know I've done that. The OpenFit Airs, pretty similar to the OpenFits from memory. The problem I had with the OpenFits, because I really liked the way that they worked, I really liked the sound from them, and I thought they were really comfortable. they broke for me after about a month, and they just haven't worked again. So I haven't been able to use them for quite a while. So the OpenFit Airs, I really like the design of these. The fit for me is absolutely fine in them. I've not had any issue at all in those 2 runs that I've done, and on today's race, no problems at all. I was wearing sunglasses and a cap, and they fitted on nicely. Didn't have any problems with my head shape or my ear shape, and they just fitted quite nicely. The touch buttons. Now, I've never really been a big fan of touch buttons on headphones, because when you're sweaty or when you're running, you can sort of press the button too many times. It can be a bit frustrating. I like to have an actual physical button so that I know how many times I've pressed it or double clicked it or anything like that. But to be honest, I didn't have any problems with these today. I was skipping tracks quite a bit. It was fine. I didn't have any points at that race where there was an issue, apart from one where I went for a water and I chucked it on my face, and that confused it, because the water had obviously dripped onto the touchpad, and then it started pausing the song, so I couldn't quite get it to play again until it had dried off. So that's one problem I found with the touch on these. But the actual, when they're dry and when they're not covered in sweat or water that I've chucked on myself, they're absolutely fine. And I was quite surprised by that, because I don't really like touchpads on headphones normally. I think the sound on them, absolutely fine, pretty much the same from what I experienced from the OpenFits. They're different than bone conduction headphones. They're basically just blaring sound into you, but they do sound quite loud. So one of the problems I've had with bone conduction headphones, including Shokz's products, is that you can only really listen to music with them unless you are in a very quiet place. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the bone conduction ones that I've got, you just can't hear the podcast when you're out on the street. Definitely not during a race or anything like that. I did find that when on the run yesterday, I could hear the podcast quite well on the road. It wasn't too loud on the streets that I was running on, but I could happily listen to a podcast. I don't think I would have been able to listen to a podcast today during that race, because I think it would have been too loud. But it's a step up from bone conduction headphones, and pretty much the same as I experienced from the original OpenFit. So pretty impressed with them so far, to be honest. I know the guys had a few areas that they weren't too keen on with these, but after those first couple of runs and in that race that I've just done, they're absolutely fine. Had no issues at all, apart from that water going on them. So yeah, pretty successful test for me in the Worthing 10K with these so far. And I also like the design of them. I like the little silver look of them. Very nice. So yeah, looking forward to trying this a bit more. So there you go. That is my race test at the Worthing 10K. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that little bell. And if you're going to catch and blow, you can into our podcast, which comes out a couple of times each month. And we also do a Points of Shoe podcast now, where we answer your questions. Right. Catch you next time.